Thanks for staying with us. Let's turn attention now to Africa. Nigeria, Africa's most populous country, boasts of its manufacturing sector dominated by cement and building materials, food and beverages, tobacco, chemicals and fertilizers, wood and textiles. But despite this potential, intra-African trade has remained relatively low. Recent data suggests a promising shift. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, Nigeria witnessed a remarkable surge in intra-African trade, increasingly by 195% year-on-year to 9.11 trillion naira in the second quarter of 2024, as intra-African trade increased by 7.2% in 2023, reaching $192 billion. This impressive surge was largely driven by the export of manufactured goods such as cement, beverages, and processed food. Stakeholders are saying the country must therefore refocus more on manufacturing industries, such as the fabric and textile sectors, which have immense job opportunities and export potential. Now joining me is Editor-in-Chief Legit Rahama Abiola via Zoom from Lagos. Good to have you join us.
Yes, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So if you followed conversations, which I guess you did, at the just concluded ECOWAS at 50 event here in Lagos, one of the points that was re-echoed over and over again is the need for integration in the African continent. But can we achieve integration without intra-African trade?
Of course, there is no way we can achieve integration without intra-African trade, because apart from looking at it from the economic perspective, we have to look into how it contributes to the political stability in the region. Let's look at it from the perspective of African Continental Free Trade Agreement. So it has really been instrumental in solidifying the continent in terms of free trade relation, and we can see that companies like Nigeria, companies owned by Nigerians like Dangote, like UBA, they are exporting to neighboring countries like Ghana, like Senegal, and North African countries. So it is really important that we focus on integration of the country integration of the continent, through the economic West African Community bloc, and of course through the African Free Trade Continental Agreement. And this is going to help the manufacturing sector, not only about Nigeria, but also other African countries as well.
And I want to get to the manufacturing sector in a moment, but the AfCFTA was signed in 2018 by member nations, launched in 2021, and yet, as we speak, intra-African trade is just 15% when you compare with countries like Europe, which is 60%, and Asia, which is, I think, 50% thereabouts, and you're wondering why, we're still struggling to trade with ourselves, even with AfCFTA. Yes,
it is because we have a lot of factors. One of them is insecurity. If you check the Sahel region, see that we have insecurity challenges, even in Nigeria here. So in the north, you see banditry and Boko Haram insurgency, and then you see kidnappings, social vices in the western part of the country. So security is the main challenge. It's one of the reasons why we can achieve that strong realignment among the African countries. Another factor is protectionism. Protectionism is an ideology which, unfortunately, a lot of countries are adopting. They are trying to protect their own local productions, and because of that, they don't focus on other things coming from other African countries, other daily material products which are coming from other African countries. So this is a very big factor. But of course, we can find a way around it. So as I have said, the African Free Trade Agreement is really important because the major objective is to create a sole movement of goods facilitated by people across the African region. So we have to look into the factors. Protectionism, we have to put that down. Of course, that is the way in which the world is moving to, and we have to look into the challenges of insecurity. So when we are able to do that, apparently we have more African countries and their economy more strengthened and fully integrated for the movement of the continent.
And if Nigeria is to take advantage of this platform to boost its manufacturing sector, what must we be doing now?
I think Nigeria should, as a matter of fact, being one of the biggest economic engine room in Africa, must start implementing the African Free Trade Agreement for production, for strengthening its local economy. And what are the things which we need to do is that, number one, we need to understand our own strengths as a country. So, for instance, in Osun State, we have Adire fabrics production, which holds significant economic value, both domestically and internationally. So, beyond the cultural heritage of this Adire, or maybe Ashoke in the Shein and Ilorin, so they can generate more money for the country. And of course, what the country should do is, number one, we need to focus on infrastructure. So we must prioritize tangible solutions, to our power sector. If you check over the years, many manufacturing companies have relied on alternative source and to power their seamless operation. So this apparently had cost. So because of this, the government must look into the deployment of power sector. Deployment of power, which is really important. And let me give you a data. In 2022, the Manufacturers Association said they spent about 144.5 billion naira on alternative energy source. So if we can be able to work on our energy and power, I believe that this is going to work. And apart from this, we need to look into other factors. So beyond the power challenge, so the federal government must, rise against the challenges of infrastructure deficit. So by building roads and ports, that can enhance the logistic movement. Let me give an example of the 2.83.75 kilometer Kano Maradin railway. This is the big distance. So if we prioritize infrastructure, definitely we are going to boost the manufacturing sector of the country.
Thank you so much for your analysis, Editor-in-Chief Legit Rahama Abiola.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.